WEIU Charleston.
And a very good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Issues and Attitudes. My name is Jeff Owens, Interim Director at WEIU TV and Radio. My co-host, still in school this week, Annalicia Haynes.
Not in school, just working.
At school. Yeah, you're here. So we're going to talk to some folks from Lakeland College today. If you're watching on television, which I know Bonnie's thrilled about, Bonnie Moore, Director to the Center for Business and Industry from Lakeland. Welcome.
Thank you.
So, and don't be nervous. You'll be fine, all right? We're just having a conversation with friends. And in the middle, if you're watching on TV, Dr. Jim Hull. He's the Vice President for the Workforce Solutions as well as Community Education at Lakeland College.
Glad to be here.
So appreciate you both coming in on this Monday of Thanksgiving. I do appreciate it since it's the holiday week. I know everybody's trying to get their stuff done and get out of Dodge as much as they can, correct? So we'll start with Bonnie and some of the programs that you're working on, and we'll start with the LSC Communications and some of the things that Lakeland is doing with LSC.
So LSC Communications and Lakeland College created a partnership last summer where students would enroll in a manufacturing skills certificate program course series. The series is 8 weeks long and it goes full time, so from 8 in the morning till 4:30 in the afternoon. It's a 16 credit hour series, and then the students, when they graduate from the program after their 8 weeks, are guaranteed a job at LSC Communications making $16 to $18 an hour upon their graduation. So they have a great pay rate, and they enter into leadership positions right after they graduate from Lakeland. Also this year in our fall semester, the Board of Trustees at Lakeland College also voted to make the course, if a student didn't qualify for financial aid or other funding, the college will actually pay for the tuition and fees for every student who's entering. So basically you can come in and take this course if you don't qualify for Pell Grants or Workforce Investment Opportunity Act dollars or Innovation Act dollars. The college will pay or waive your fees.
And LSC Communications, for those who don't remember the new name, that is the old R.R. Donnelly's, the big blue building on Route 45. When you say that they're guaranteed a job, they meet the requirements of the class via Lakeland, and they guaranteed a job. What kind of jobs you said they're doing? I know it's the high rate of pay and some kind of leadership, but what would actually the duties be out there at, I keep wanting to call it Donnelly's, but LSC?
They typically are in their bindery operator or team leader roles, or their press operator or team leader roles.
That's cool. We'll switch over to Jim now. And Jim, I know that you were talking about off air that you made sure we want to talk about apprenticeships via Lakeland College. Talk about some of those opportunities.
So Lakeland is working with employers. Right now, apprenticeships are kind of a hot topic. There's a lot of money behind apprenticeships coming out of the Department of Labor, federal government. The state is really kind of pushing it. So Lakeland College is working with employers to develop apprenticeships around occupations that are highly in demand. One of the things that we have worked with North American Lighting out of Paris on a production technician type of program. And this apprenticeship is actually an associate's degree, but it's also linked with about 3 years of on-the-job training. So the way that works, and they can be created in a variety of different formats, but the way we envision this working is a student would come to class 2 days a week, and 3 days a week they're working at North American Lighting or another employer that wants to participate. And so this gives them both theoretical knowledge, book learning, classroom learning, but it pairs it in such a way that they are actually practicing what they've learned that week on the floor. So it reinforces with that actual real-world experience, hands-on learning.
And at North American Lighting, if you didn't know what they do, they basically make a lot of different lights for different vehicles, correct? If you've ever been in the front office, it's really awesome over there.
Yes,
just to see the different kinds of lights that go on different kind of cars and nameplates and things like that, and obviously there's some serious manufacturing that goes with it. When you develop a partnership like this with North American Lighting, is it like on a 1 year basis or renewal, or is it a continual? How does the mechanics of the program work?
So a partnership like this, this particular apprenticeship would be a 3 year commitment for students. So obviously it's got to be a 3 year commitment at least for the employer.
Yeah.
But we're doing it because they need to attract skilled workers. And so they are in it for the long haul as well, where it's not just a 3 year commitment, but we would be bringing students in each year that have a 3 year commitment. So it's just a continual rollover. But that particular piece is built on a larger partnership and cooperation that we have with North American Lighting that goes back to about 2012. So the program that Bonnie just mentioned for LSC actually was originally created for North American Lighting back in 2012. It's one of those programs that is basic skills for manufacturing, so any manufacturer could do the same thing that North American has done or that LSC has done.
Now, do other colleges also do this, or is Lakeland kind of at the forefront of these? And then either of you can answer when you think about a partnership where you're trying to find skilled workers for local employers.
I think that every community college tries to do this. I think that we have had some success that maybe others have not. But every employer out there right now is dealing with unemployment rates nationally at 3.7, 3.8%, meaning that they can't find the workers that they need. LSC came to us for the training that Bonnie was talking about because they were having to turn away work. They didn't have enough employees to do the work that they had available to them. And it's not just printing, it's not just automotive. We're talking to businesses that are fabrication, metal fabrication, that are in healthcare. It's almost every industry sector that you can name is really facing a shortage of skilled workers and needing to come up with that pipeline somehow.
So then,
go ahead.
with the apprenticeship, do students get paid for that, or is there financial aid with that as well?
Yes to both.
Okay.
So the way the way apprenticeships work, at least with community colleges, they're built upon an associate's degree, as I said, so
Right.
that qualifies for financial aid. But also to be a Department of Labor approved apprenticeship, there has to be payment for time at work, and there has to be an increasing wage. So they would start out at, let's say, $10 an hour, just using a round number. And there has to be goals set, milestones set, that once they attain that milestone, it comes with a raise. And it may only be 50 cents an hour. But the way the apprenticeship works is it builds them from this starting wage all the way up to a journeyman's wages at the end.
And I think it's a really cool deal, though. I come from the Chicagoland area, so I'm used to like the plumbers union and then
Right.
water works. And in order to get into that, you need an apprenticeship, and it's very difficult to do that.
It is.
So I haven't heard of the community college up there having something like that. So I think that's really cool for people. Now, do you think enough students realize how valuable this is?
Well,
And where do you draw the kids from, to add on your
Yeah.
question? I mean, how far out are you marketing these kind of programs to draw people? Because they'd obviously have to either move here or be able to commute between Lakeland or Mattoon and Paris and somewhere in between. Or
so we're marketing, we're reaching out throughout our district. And our district runs vaguely from Indiana to Payne, Illinois, and Bethany down to Farina. So it's a pretty good swath of territory, but we're trying to market throughout our district. Now, you ask, do students or people realize the value of this? And very honestly, I've got to say no at this point. And part of the reason is, even this last offering that we had with LSC, again, guaranteed job at the end of 8 weeks. And a guaranteed job making $16 to $18 an hour. That's nothing to sneeze at. And the college is saying, if you don't qualify for enough financial aid to pay for it, we'll pay the extra cost. So you have a guaranteed job on the line at no cost to you. And yet we still couldn't find, how many do we have, Bonnie, in the second class?
4.
4 people.
tuck into the mic, Bonnie.
4. Sorry.
We had 4 people. So how do you square that? You've got
Oh, go ahead.
you've got a great job at the end that's not going to cost you anything, but yet we can't get people to understand that what a value that opportunity is.
Do you think there's still a stigma about young people that they do, or maybe it's not only young people? I guess it could be people that are trying to find a different career, or they've had job reductions at places. Do you think there's still that stigma of I don't want to be the guy who works in the factory? Because that's growing up, I remember my mom and dad said you're never going to work in a factory, and they ingrained that into my mind like that was some horrible experience. And I think that you have to overcome that at some point, right?
You're exactly right. That stigma does exist, and it's as strong today as whenever we were in high school and college. And my parents told me the same thing. You're not going to go to work there. You're gonna go get a degree and make something of yourself. But very honestly, if you look at so many of our neighbors and the people we go to church with and the people that we shop in Walmart with, these people are making a very good living. I mean, the people at LSC, at North American Lighting, at you name it, any manufacturer, any plant in our area, they're making a livable wage. And there's a lot of people that are making $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 a year with maybe an 8-week commitment to a college.
Wow.
It just blows your mind.
Very good. Let's move on to a couple other specifics. The launch code, that's a computer programming certificate. Talk about that.
It is. So Launch Code is a St. Louis-based not-for-profit organization that we have partnered with at the college to offer this certificate program that we have. So the certificate program for this one is 20 weeks. So it's a little bit longer than the LSC communications certificate, but the students gain programming skills in Python, JavaScript, SQL, and then some just front-end web developing programs that they have. So this is another industry where we're seeing a lot of growth. Right now it's projected to grow 32% through 2026. So this program is also financial aid eligible. But this semester, we're going to be offering it differently than we did last semester. We did a hybrid where some of the classes were online and some were in person.
Yeah.
This year, the class will be 100% online, so it will offer more flexibility to our students.
And you can also then market a little bit further out because kids don't have the means to get to Mattoon or one of your subsidiary places can do it anywhere. So
a lot of the students who offer this too already have primary jobs that they are going to keep full time, and then they're going to do some of the web development and programming as a second job from home.
Okay, interesting.
And so with this program, is it I must have missed it beforehand. Is it a degree program? Do you get certified in?
This is a certificate program.
Okay.
So it's not an associate's degree necessarily. Yeah, there's also an informational meeting for this class on December 11th at our Effingham Cluthy Center at 6:30 in the evening.
Well, this is such a again, because I know how important coding is, and people do make a lot. Well, yeah, people do make a lot of money coding, so I might hang on to that part.
And that's one of those occupations that you can work anywhere. You can be sitting in Mattoon or Charleston or Paris or wherever and be coding for a company in San Francisco or in Chicago or Indianapolis. So, that one really just opens up all kinds of doors for you.
Plastics program in Paris. Your turn, Jim. Let's talk about this. They got
there's more.
Yeah, there's more.
I just feel like there's like a gift box right here. There's just pulling stuff out.
So again, we talked a little bit about our relationship with North American Lighting. North American came to us, and you mentioned that they are a big manufacturer of taillights, headlights for cars. Well, the way they do that is injection molding of plastics. And it's much more complicated than that, but it's a plastics process. And they said, again, we can't find the people we need to operate our injection molding presses. Can you help us? And so we started down the road of looking at what can we do for North American, but it became crystal clear that there is a huge market for plastics manufacturing just in central Illinois that a lot of times we don't think about. But not only that, we discovered that there are no community college programs in the state of Illinois focusing on plastics manufacturing. Now, EIU used to have a program right here on campus that has been shuttered, and that's a decision that was made by the administration. But it left a void that has not been filled as of yet until we developed this program. So we began talking with North American, but then we quickly went to Libman Products up in Arcola. And if you don't know Libman makes brooms, mops, brushes, what have you. And you can go buy a Libman broom in Walmart in Alaska, and it was made in Arcola because they only have one factory.
Yep.
So again, they express the same kind of interest. If you can find us skilled people, we need them. We can gobble them up. There are other manufacturers. There's Plastipac up in Champaign. There is CBM Plastics in Chesterville. Just all kinds of shops that you don't really ever think of until you start researching this as to what they do. So in consultation with all of these manufacturers that we began talking to, we decided to develop an associate and a certificate program in plastics technology that focuses on the major processes for plastics manufacturing. And so most of our people in Central Illinois do injection molding and extrusion. So extrusion, think of extrusion of Simonton windows, for instance, over in Paris. The mullins in the middle of your window, that's an extrusion process. It just draws it out, and it, big long mullen, and they cut it in pieces. Those are the two main processes in Central Illinois. But then again, we're focusing on Illinois as a whole because there's no other program available. So we're looking at blown film and thermoforming. So thermoforming would take let's say a pallet, a plastic pallet, and it has a die, and this thing comes down in pressure, and it forms it into this pallet. That's one use of it. But we're trying to cover all of the bases and provide, again, the basic entry-level skills for plastics manufacturing because it's an untapped need. We also partnered, thankfully, with EIU because they had shuttered their program. EIU had equipment available that was just sitting unused. And so we worked together, our two institutions, and they made that equipment available to us. So we're very thankful.
That's good. That it doesn't go to Springfield and set up there forever.
Exactly.
That's how the state of Illinois works.
Exactly.
So it's no longer in use. They send it to Springfield, and it sits in a warehouse forever. Yeah, that's the process. So, question this came on my way where you guys were talking about. Now, do you go approach the factories, industries, or is it kind of just, hey, we got an idea? Do they come to you? Do you go to them, or is it kind of a combination of both?
I would say it's a combination of both.
Okay. I just wonder how the whole process worked. If you say, hey, we have a great idea, or do they come to you looking for the workforce because they kind of see you as being the leader out there?
So with plastics, again, North American came to us.
And then it kind of divvied out.
But then we started going out to all these other manufacturers saying, look, here's what we're being told by one. Do you have the same need? If so, what can we do to help fill that need? So,
Bonnie, you want to talk about some customized training courses as well that's going on like that? So
sure.
Go ahead and hit that up.
So the Center for Business and Industry does a lot of customized training courses. So this would be when we would go into a manufacturer and they would tell us what their specific need would be. So instead of them taking a stock welding class, for example, on campus, they would only need specific skills for those classes. So that is what we do. We do those in a variety of different arenas, whether it be Microsoft Excel, whether it be welding, whether it be manufacturing skills or industrial maintenance programs. So we customize all of those programs that kind of exist in a stock style or program that's already existing, and then we take the bits and pieces of it and develop out for individual companies what their needs would be. So one of the programs that came out of that has sort of become an annual program for us at the Center for Business and Industry is our leadership series. So this started about 4 years ago, and it's a 10-month program. And it's for anyone that's already in a leadership role or is interested in moving into a leadership role, because the program is very comprehensive. It's very nice because it's only one afternoon once a month for 10 months. And those students come and they learn everything from their communication style, using disc profiling, to resolving conflict and managing change and giving feedback. So sometimes those programs that start out as customized pieces actually turn into programs that we're able to offer over and over again, like the leadership series that we have.
Interesting. Now, you talked about healthcare, and I know healthcare is the burgeoning industry right now because there's not enough need for there's too many. We need nurses, we need farm techs and everything. So talk about how Lakeland is kind of buffering the healthcare industry right now.
Well, again, Bonnie is doing a lot with healthcare and some of the customized training that she's doing. And then our division is really kind of looking at how can we fold apprenticeships into healthcare. It's not something that you really think of because, as you indicated, you think about the unions being the big apprenticeship models, but we are, in fact, we've written a grant. Hopefully we'll find out here in a month or so whether we are successful, but we've written a grant to develop an apprenticeship around our certified medical assisting program. Again, this is a growing need for healthcare. The hospitals especially are really crying for CMAs, and so we have partnered with not only Lakeland but with Lincoln Trail College and with Kaskaskia College to write this grant to hopefully develop some apprenticeships around that particular occupation within healthcare. And if that flies, then we may look at expanding beyond that.
Okay. Do either of you worry about there's not enough workforce to fill some of these needs? I mean, when you think about LSC or North American Lighting or healthcare, because there's just not enough people in your swath. I like that word that you used. So do we need to attract more people to the area, or do you have to, is it legal for you to market outside of your district?
We can market outside of our district for programs that other people don't have. So plastics, for instance, we can market across the whole state. And community colleges have an agreement that as long as they don't have it, we can market it. So there is that, but the challenge is, you're right, there are not enough people in East Central Illinois to fill all of the needs that are existing today. And so really it's drawing people in and or keeping people here. We go back to what you said about the stigma.
Yeah.
Very honestly, the biggest challenge is to convince mom. And my mother was the same way. But, mom thinks of manufacturing as dirty, dark, dangerous. Johnny, Susie don't need to work there. That is not the case anymore. When I was in high school, yes, I worked in a dark, dangerous manufacturing facility. Yes, dirty. I was rebuilding coal mine equipment. But I walk into a factory today, and you go into North American Lighting, you go into Libman. These are well-lit, clean, safe environments that are paying a great wage. So we've got to get the message not only to our young people that these careers exist, but we've got to convince mom and dad that this is a viable alternative for their student.
Does social media play into that? Can you use social media to kind of get the word out? And how do you, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I'm a firm believer of the if you build it, they will come kind of mindset. So we want to build great programs, but we also want to get the word out. So we do use social media. We do use some paid advertising. We do have social media sites like the Center for Business and Industry has its own Facebook page, and we do some advertising there. We do live videos. We've done some things with tweets and hashtags, and we've done some things on LinkedIn as well. So those are good. We haven't really dabbed our feet too far into the Instagram world because it's hard for us to snap a picture that shows you a snapshot of all of the things that we're able to do. But we do use social media quite a bit. And I think Jim would tease me about my social media use.
Yeah, because I don't really understand it. I have a Facebook page, but my kids say it's just to creep on them. So,
You're young. Social media you're growing up with it. I mean, do your people look for employment via that and look for opportunities?
I think when it comes to employment opportunities, they have certain websites like Indeed.com and stuff like that really helps with that. But social media, I'm convinced, being in my major, journalism, it does get the word out. It's just up to the person to be able to decipher which is true and which is not true. So.
Right.
Yeah, and you don't know sometimes you don't know what's new.
That's true.
Because Facebook's really gotten bad at
their
that.
Their algorithms are weird. That's why this coding class, will
they
help
really need a
people.
new one because sometimes it'll be like
update
So a few minutes left. Anything that we did not touch on that you want to talk about? What's going on at Lakeland? We're talking to Bonnie Moore and Jim Hull. So I don't want to miss anything, but we've flown by.
Okay. I would like to take a few minutes to mention one of our most popular courses in our community learning area of the Center for Business and Industry is our Conceal and Carry course.
Okay.
We offer it once a month down at Accuracy Firearms in Effingham, Illinois. Our December class is already full, but there are still some openings in our January and February course. So if you have an interest in the Conceal and Carry course, you would be able to take that through us. And we also have two other courses that I would like to mention that are newer to us. We ran our pharmacy technician course for the first time this fall, but this is a course for people who want to be pharmacy technicians. So they take the course, and this one is in person out on campus 2 evenings a week, but they would take this course, and then when they're finished with it, they're able to sit for their pharmacy technician exam. So that has been really successful for us. They cover anything in there just from the role of the technician and what they would do in the pharmacy, all the way up to biopharmaceuticals and math and all of the fun things that are involved in a pharmacy tech class.
Tell me there'd be no math.
Yeah, right. That one I think is something that we'll see catch on quite a bit. And then this spring we're also offering a new program for paralegals. So that will be sort of that same format as the pharmacy technician course, where students will come out to campus twice a week. I believe these classes are on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and it will teach basic law, basic U.S. law, and prepare students for different styles of formatting that they might see in drafting legal documents, in legal research and ethics. And again, once they finish this course, they would be able to sit for the national certification for paralegals.
Lots of stuff going on like that.
Are there prerequisites for these courses?
There are not.
Oh, that's so
None
cool.
of the classes I've talked about, or I think Jim, have any prerequisites.
You hear that? That's like a frying pan upside the head.
go.
Get out there.
It is.
You know?
right.
It is.
There you go. A minute and a half left. Anything for you, Jim, or I'll just ask some completely random, fun 8 questions.
Why don't you just ask some random, funny questions?
Best thing about your job, Bonnie?
The best thing about my job is that I get to be exposed to all the different industries that we have here in our area.
Same thing, Jim?
You know, the people I work with and what we get to do. I'm one of those guys that really likes to watch how it's made on TV. So anytime I get the opportunity to walk into a factory, it's just like a kid in a candy store for me.
Christmas tree up yet?
No, but it's tagged.
No, but it's the same with me. There you go.
December 23rd.
December 23rd. What do you want for Christmas? What are you looking for? Any of that one present you have to have or really want?
Oh,
I'll let you mention
gosh.
this to Annalisa.
I would take anything.
Okay.
I'd like
Jim?
to win the lottery for Christmas.
There you go. Think big.
You know, I don't really have anything major that I want. So
I just
least-
told people I want them to pay a bill. That's all I want.
Amen.
spoken as a true college student.
All right. Now the big question. Thanksgiving Day meal, noodles or no noodles?
Noodles.
No.
You got to be from up north then, right?
Nope, Southern Illinois.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
You broke my theory.
Sorry.
I've never heard of having noodles.
See? I have this,
serious?
I have this
Yeah.
Kankakee line rule that nobody above Kankakee ever has noodles, everybody below does. So
Not
you just
Southern
broke my-
I
Illinois.
never.
There you
And
go.
in fact, I'd rather have barbecue than turkey.
That is.
Well, there's something to be said about that. I do appreciate you both coming in on this
Thank
week
you.
of Thanksgiving. Everybody have a great Thanksgiving week. Appreciate it, Bonnie and Jim, so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
This
you.
is Hitmix 88.9 WEIU. Have a great Thanksgiving yourself, Annalisa.
Fantastic.
Everybody have a great day.
Here's today's edition of Health in a Heartbeat. Our nation's opioid abuse epidemic is affecting even the littlest Americans with alarming prevalence. New data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention shows a 4-fold increase in the number of women struggling with opioid abuse at the time of labor and delivery. The increase occurred over the period of 1999 to 2014. Opioid abuse, or opioid use disorder as it is formally known, has devastating effects on mamas and babies. These include stillbirth, premature birth, and even maternal death, to name a few. Another sad outcome mentioned in the CDC's Morbidity and Mortality Report is neonatal abstinence syndrome. This is the name for the withdrawal symptoms newborns suffer after they become hooked on substances in the womb, then are removed from those substances after birth. Trouble sleeping, excessive crying, vomiting, dehydration, fever, and tremors are a few of the struggles these babies may endure.